Welcome back to Underdog Racing League. I am Chance Durheim, bringing you coverage from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tonight we have the Tridents up 188, presented by Wild Bill's Soda. Should be a fun one tonight. We've got 24 drivers looking to battle it out, and we'll see if we can get maybe a new winner here tonight. This is a place that provides some of the greatest finishes in NASCAR, and also provide some surprises as well. But with that, let's get into our Custom Ink starting lineup. Tonight is our sports teams themed race, so a lot of drivers you will see have their favorite sports teams painted on their cars. Starting with David Chapman Jr., he is starting 24th in the number 88. Then right alongside him is Scott Kerberg. He is the driver of the number 14, starting 23rd. Then we have Marshall Wilson starting 22nd. He's not loaded in yet, but I'm sure you'll see a lot of Marshall tonight. Just in front of him, though, is the number 58 of Dakota Bly in the Pittsburgh Penguins paint scheme. Then we have starting 20th, driver the number 22, Tom Lanier. Then 19th is the 11 of Stephen Horner, rocking pretty much the same paint scheme he runs every week because he's always rocking the Tennessee Volunteers machine. Then starting 18th will be the number 16 of Dylan Walterman. And 17th will be the 72 of Curtis Cairns. Starting 16th is Justin Stenard in the 33. Then 15th is Matthew Young in the 13. 14th is Cody Dorsey. He's also not in yet, but he will start 14th, driving the number 9. Then 13th will be Noah Tansman in the number 66 machine. And then there's Cody as well. Starting 12th is the number 28 of Dennis Steele. To his inside will be Scott Milner, driver of the 31. Then we get into our top 10. Started off with Jason Bottoms, driving the number 5, the sponsor of this race. So thank you, Mr. Jason Bottoms. Then we have Jason Seams. He will start 9th. Up into row 4. Start with the driver of the 83. That is Ryan Seams. To his inside is David Coley in the number 20. Starting 6th, Christopher Heights in the 21. 5th will be Derek Riley in the 17. Then we have Nick Gardner starting 4th, driver of the 27, second points. Jason Fensler, your points leader, will start 3rd in the 15. Then we have Dylan Zampa outside row 1, and Will Young will lead us to the green flag. So that is your field for tonight's 125 lap race from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And this is the size of a normal 1.5-mile track. We've raced at a couple of these recently, but it will drive just about as far away from that as possible. These guys are going to be full throttle most of the run, and it is going to be a crazy, hectic, pack racing filled type of race. So expect a lot of chaos, a lot of fun, and let's get to it. 125 laps. Let's get to lap 1 right now. Getting ready to wave the green flag, and we are underway from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Everybody just finding their lines. A lot of guys are going to migrate to the bottom right away. Just try to get in line with everybody else. Fensler and Young inside row 1. Dylan Zampa trying to get some help from Nick Gardner on the outside. Gardner real tight, moved up the track there. You're going to see a lot of that type of thing. Will Young going to go up and block Jason Fensler, who's going up to get with his teammate Dylan Zampa. And that made Will Young lose control of the race. Now he's got Fensler side by side with him. And Jason Fensler, he's been the best driver at every type of track other than the super speedways this year. And this one is a little bit more like a traditional 1.5 miles. So we'll see if he can have a little bit more success here than he has during speed weeks early on in the year. Everybody being pretty orderly so far. Nobody off the pack as we have one car in the wall. Looks like everything's okay. That is the 31 of Scott Milner. He's off the pace, but he's not going to bring out a caution. He will lose the draft, and that will be very detrimental to him. But no caution, no wrecked race car. I think that's a positive. Only 4 laps in. Now Zampa and Fensler, 2 teammates, are going to try to take control of this thing. Let's go on board with Dylan Zampa here in second. And watch as we get into the corner. If you're wondering how these guys are able to go pretty much full throttle the whole way around here, that is how. That is how much banking is here. The camera is pretty much sideways. It's about 33 degrees of banking, I believe. And it keeps these cars strapped to the racetrack, just about on the rails going around here. But there is certainly a handling element that you don't see at every other kind of racetrack. These guys are trying their best not to lose it in every corner. At Daytona Talladega, you don't really have that as much. You're not really loose or tight. You're able to keep your foot in it pretty much the whole way around, especially if you're by yourself. I was watching qualifying, and there were some guys getting a little loose, having to get out of the throttle. And, had a couple guys starting farther back than they wanted to. Big scare there for Derek Riley. He's able to corral it, though, but it's going to be all the help gone for Jason Fensler on the inside. 20 of David Coley's going to go try to help Jason out. He is one of our Dash for Cash drivers tonight. The other ones are Steven Horner in the 11, Justin Sturron in the 33, and Noah Tansman in the 66. Oh, Zampa trying to hold on to it. Gardner in the wall. No caution yet. Gardner's car looks broke, but still no caution. It is up to iRacing to call the cautions, and nobody went around enough to bring out the caution. Gardner's going to bring that thing down pit road, but that is going to split up the entire field. So Gardner comes down pit road. We got 3 cars out front now. All 3, I believe, teammates together. And then Dylan Walterman is just going to miss this front pack. So this could lead to some very interesting racing before we get to the stage here. I expected a lot of cautions tonight, but we'll see if there's any in this first stage because of how that whole incident went right there. The stage is at lap 30, so not too long before we get there. And we'll see if that second pack, led by Will Young, can bring these guys up to the front. So it's more led by Christopher Heights in the 21. And Will should have some pretty heavy right side damage. Looks like he got into the wall pretty hard, but looks like it's more rear damage than anything as he got kind of jacked up there by Nick Gardner. And that can happen. There was a push that Zampa had to give it everything he had to save that car. He did that, but everybody else behind had to check up, get out of the way. Caused a big stack up and quite a few cars to be off pace. And Nick Gardner is now 1 lap down, hoping he cannot go 2 laps down before the end of this stage. Two very similar schemes for Tansden and Will Young. This is all group number 2. Group 1 seems to be working together the best. They're pulling away from the second group just by a little bit each lap. That's just kind of the racing we've got here at Atlanta. There are now 4 distinct packs that you can kind of see are formed up looking at your intervals on the left side. David Chapman Jr. seems to be out of this race. He's 9 laps down, sitting on pit road, so I don't know what's going on with the driver of the 88, but looks like he may be fully out of this thing. These front four, they're going to try to work together, not go too wide here, so they can just pull away from that second group. As I say that, Walterman's going to go to the inside, try to pick up some ground. He wants to run the bottom, and he is moving down there. Not going to get any help from Coley, so all he's doing right now is slowing down this front group. And maybe that's his plan. Maybe he wants the second group to get involved so he can have a little help up here. Right now, he knows all three of those guys are pretty much going to stick together. As all of them going to move down to the bottom now. Let's look on back from the driver of the number 20. You can see that second group behind. They're trying to get here. Down to 1.2 seconds now. The gap between Coley and Seams for that second group to get there. And once the second group gets the draft from Group 1, they are going to be able to fly on by them. I'd expect the fastest lap of the race to be set either this lap or the next one from Jason or Ryan Seams. So two of the Seams boys are here. Nick is not. Got 24 cars, a little less than we normally have, but things happen. People tend to miss races from time to time. Walterman trying to go up top. He's going to go with Zampa. They're going to go 2 by 2. Oh, and Walterman just dumps Dylan Zampa right there. I don't know if Dylan thought he was clear. Kurt Cairns piles into it. And big damage for the driver of the 1. And Kurt Cairns in the 72. Let's go take a look at what happened. So it starts right here. Let's go up top. So watch here. I'll have to go back a little farther, I think, to tell who's at fault here. Maybe go on board with Walterman. Yeah, so we'll go on board here. See if he goes up or if he goes down. I don't know there. I think, to me, it looked like the one went up just a tiny bit. Walterman went down a tiny bit, and they just kind of met in the middle. And luckily for Walterman, Coley was very alert. Got on the brakes. Did not get into Walterman and spin him to the inside. But that'll bring out Mission 22 caution number 1 of the night. And I think we're going to see a lot of these with how this track races. It's just so difficult to have a good handle on your car and not have things like that happen. Just two guys going to the same spot. Maybe they both thought they were clear, and around went Dylan Zampa. So not everybody deciding to come down pit road. I'll update you on the running order once we get back to the line. But Fensler, Coley, Lanier, Tansman are going to be your front 4. I believe Justin Stenard will be 5th. So those guys opting for the stage points, hopefully, rather than coming out and trying to flip the stage. So 19 laps through, and I think all we've learned is that this is going to be chaos for these drivers. It is it's hard for me to describe the way this track races and how difficult it is to keep your car under control. All the air moving around these cars just makes it so difficult to have the same corner every single lap, and you're so close to all the other cars that you got to play off of them as well. When you see an inside line and an outside line, it's not really that. You see an inside line and then a middle line. That top line rarely gets used, kind of up where Dorsey is, maybe even a lane higher than that, back where Jason Bottoms is, back there in the blue car. That lane, it's just not useful for a lot of these drivers. It's slower, and it's so hard to drive this track 3 wide on iRacing, so you won't see it happen very often. But we're coming to the green flag this time. Everybody 9th on forward stayed out under that caution. And they likely will come down during the stage break at lap 30. It was big for Nick Gardner, though. He did not end up going a lap down. And he got his lap back right there, actually. But it'll be Fensler and Coley leading us to the green flag as we approach the end of Washam's R4 Environmental Stage 1. Outside line looked to be lined up a little bit better. Third car on the bottom, Justin Stenard, did not go, but it looks like nobody on the outside line went. So it'll be pretty spread out coming into turn 3, but after that I expect everybody to tighten up. Get a couple lines forming. We'll see what Stenard and Will Young, now Stenard and Tansman, look to do back there. Stenard's going to jump to the outside. He's going to have help from Cody Dorsey. And then Scott Kerberg, he's going to look to get up there as well. Lanier looking to the outside, not going to go. Going to stay tucked in behind Jason Fensler. But here comes Stenard on the outside. Not a lot of help, but he might not need it. A couple guys getting real up close to the wall. Didn't seem intentional. It's just hard to control these things. And through there's a trouble spot as well. And it's a major trouble spot for Marshall Wilson. Heavy damage to the front of that car. Let's see what happened. He tagged Christopher Heights as well. I don't know if he got a shove from Derek Riley or not, but he just went straight into the outside wall. Again, no caution. Back up front, still Fensler, still Lanier. But through there, people just don't really turn right away sometimes. You can see pretty heavy contact often through the quad oval right there. 7 laps to go in stage 1. Fensler still out front leading. Stenard trying not to get wrecked by Cody Dorsey's push back there. Now it's a 4-car breakaway almost. I think if 4 drivers really locked in and hooked up on that bottom line, that they could drive away from the pack. With how tough it is to handle, if they can just be perfect for about 5 laps, I think they could get away, especially if they're side by side behind them. Don't think we'll see that right now, and I don't know if we'll ever see that, but see, you see all the cars kind of slide up right there. They just don't have a good angle into that like they would on a traditional 1.5 miles where they're high off the corner. There's Marshall Wilson to the inside. And he made contact with Jason Bottoms. What in the world happened there? Let's rewind. So Bottoms is loose off the corner. He slides. And he just runs right into the back of Marshall Wilson. Marshall just came out of pit road. Fixed up his car. And Jason Bottoms is going to have to go down pit road now. We'll catch up live. Bottoms is going to stay out, try to make it to the end of the stage, nurse that thing home, but now Jason Fensler off course. What happened to Jason? Looks like it's the same that happened to Bottoms. A little push gone wrong, and down he went. But I'll catch up back live again with 3 laps to go in the stage. Now Tom Lanier's your new leader. One car on the wall back there. Stenard still trying to get that outside lane to get up there. David Coley's going to go try to help him out. Coley outside, Lanier inside. Battle for the lead coming to 2 laps to go. It's so tight, so treacherous. The risk versus reward here. How hard are you going to push the driver in front of you? How hard are you going to go? How aggressive will you be? Will determine the fate for a lot of race cars at the end of the stage here. Some drivers are going to opt for the points. Some are going to try to just hang back, make sure they don't wreck their race car. Come to the white flag of R4 Environmental Stage 1. Coley on the inside, leading the preferred line, it seems like. But Zampa and Stenard are trying to make it work up top. Coming on the backstretch for the final time in Stage 1. Push maybe got awry from Lanier onto Coley. Here comes Stenard. He's trying to pick up a stage win early on in this season. And here we go to the line. Who's going to get it? Justin Stenard will be your Stage 1 winner. Dylan Zampa second, Coley third, Dorsey fourth, Tom Lanier fifth, Noah Tansman sixth, Dennis Steele seventh, Jason Seams eighth, Jason Fensler ninth, and Derek Riley will be the last of the point getters in Stage 1. I think if you're this car right here, the Jason Fensler machine, you're pretty upset with the way that thing ended there. Was leading most of the stage, and then one push sent him all the way back to the back half of the top 10, and just never able to get back up there. But Justin Stenard picks up, I believe it's his first stage win of the season. I'm not 100% sure. But, yeah, he is your Stage 1 winner, and I know he was looking to rebound after last week, and looks like he's doing that pretty well. And the stage points are so important, especially at these super speedways, because you never know what's going to happen to you. One wrong move and you could be kind of out of this thing, and with those stage points it helps soften the blow a little bit. Another thing you'll see here is a lot of guys are going to take tires. You wouldn't see that as much at the other super speedways, but here the tires are pretty important. And it looks like Stenard did beat Zampa off pit road. That was a close race off. But Stenard will keep control of this race. Maybe. Dennis Steele looks like he took either 2 or no tires, and Scott Milner just stayed out entirely. And you see the track starting to get dark over here in Atlanta. I suppose it's actually in like Hampton, Georgia, but you know. And that should provide at least a little bit more grip for these drivers. Just hope it doesn't make them too tight. Oh, we're under the yellow though. Let's hear from our presenting sponsor, Wild Bill's Soda.
You're looking mighty thirsty. Wild Bill's, pure cane sugar, old-fashioned sodas.
So this is only the second caution of the night. And this one was not for cause. It was for the end of the stage, of course. And something we've seen so far is there have been quite a few incidents without cautions. So I think some guys who like to just hang out at the back and wait for the cautions to pile up and just go get up front at the end of the race when all the cars are either destroyed or just not running very well. That might not be possible tonight, because if one of those incidents happen, you're going to have to check up at the back and you're not going to be able to drive back forward. So track position is paramount tonight. We'll see who can get it and who can keep it. So it'll be Milner and Steele front row leading us to the green flag. Let's get to it. Into the Geico restart zone. Here we go. Great jump for Scott on the inside. Everybody just looking for somewhere to go behind. We'll see if at any point the hard, aggressive racing just kind of subsides and people just want to ride around. I wouldn't expect it, but sometimes at these super speedways you do see that kind of racing start to take place. See that inside line moving up quite a bit. It's going to force those outside guys like Coley to go way up, and we have a caution on the racetrack. What for? The 11 of Stephen Horner is around. We'll just go back and watch Horner's perspective, I guess. I don't really know what happened. Horner just got into the wall and right into Kerberg. And around he went. Just missed Dakota Bly. See, I don't know what happened to Steven there. Just kind of drove in a little too hot, got in the wall, and spun himself around. And Kerberg was just minding his own business, got caught up in it. While we are under this yellow flag, I'm going to take a quick break and get back to you for the green flag. All right, folks, I am back with you. So we have one lap to the green flag. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather tonight, so there may be a few more breaks from me than usual if you don't hear me talking for a little bit. That would be why, but I appreciate you guys hanging with me. And yeah, we've already had a fun night of racing so far. And we got a ton of laps left, so it'll be about just over a 20 lap run to the end of the stage here. And like I said at the top, those stage points are crucial. So it'll be Scott Milner inside, Justin Stenard outside. Milner is the control car. He stayed out at the stage break, and he's looking to use some of that newfound track position and keep it. So we've got two cars out of the race. Scott Kerberg is one lap down, and nobody else a lap down. So Scott just hoping he can get to the stage or get a caution before somebody else falls a lap down, and he'll get the free pass. But into the Geico restart zone, and here we go. Good jump from Scott Milner. Second and third, side by side. Dylan Zampa almost out of the groove there. Holds on to it. And we are getting very dark here at Atlanta. Luckily, Atlanta does have lights, so that will not be a worry tonight, but Stenard getting a big shove from the one of Zampa there. It's going to move him out to the lead. And that's how he won stage one. We'll see what he can do now with the help of Jason Fensler behind. David Coley jumping up there. Coley's going to drop back down. Fensler's going to drop back down. Stenard on an island up top. Oh, he's got a couple orange cars coming with him. Derek Riley in the Orioles machine, and then Jason Seams in the 81. So Stenard and Scott Milner, that is the first battle on track. That was the battle for third. But Jason Fensler, he and Zampa, and add David Coley in that as well. They've really worked well together tonight. And I believe Coley is a part of their team. I know Fensler and Zampa are teammates, and I see a Zampa Racing decal on the back of Coley's car. So all those guys, I believe, are going to try to work together, and so far they've been the dominant three tonight, kind of looking like Team Penske does at Atlanta. Here's Cody Dorsey. He's going to try to link up with some friends on the outside, but I just don't think the outside's the place to be right now. Scott Milner agrees with that. He's going to tuck in to the inside in front of Ryan Seams. And now it's Cody Dorsey all on his own out front on the outside. Jason Bottoms on the wall, a little bit deeper in the pack. A little bit of contact between Dennis Steele, Cody Dorsey. And Dorsey into Scott Milner. And everybody else scurrying, trying to get out of the way. Big caution in the middle of Washam's on the fence stage 2. Let's see what happened. I have to go back a little bit farther than this. What in the world went on between Dorsey and Scott Milner? I'll have to look at that one more time. We'll stay up here as we go through this, but I don't really know what happened. Let's go with the far chase camera from Milner. So Dorsey outside, Milner inside. That's where the contact's going to be. Milner was riding the bottom, and I think, again, One driver came up, one driver came down. They met in the middle. It all happens in this little quad oval part of the racetrack. Big damage for Milner, big damage for a lot of cars, and we'll go catch up live. Milner still sitting on pit road. Zampa, your race leader. Let's go with him. And I don't know if you're talking about me ignoring Dylan. I don't really try to ignore anybody. If you're running up front, I'll keep my eyes on you. It's a little bit harder when you get a little bit deeper in the pack, but no, I try to keep the camera on Dylan. Last year I did it a ton. He ended up winning a championship. But yeah, he's one of the kind of founding members of this league. He, Cody, Jake Williams, I don't think is here tonight. Chris Heights, Justin Stennard, obviously those three are admins. Horner and Kerberg have been here a long, long time. A lot of these guys have been here before me, so I don't know kind of who's been here first. Milner, I feel like I've seen forever. Marshall Wilson. A lot of great founding members, pretty much, of this league. I think I've been here probably getting close to about 3 years now. First and pretty much only league I've been a part of until I needed to find one to start racing in again. But it is a great group of guys, good leadership, and it's a very, very fun place to race each and every Wednesday. It's fun to broadcast too. I mean, it's just, I don't know, more of like a family atmosphere. Everybody's here to have fun. Nobody's kind of in here all screaming and throwing fits. I mean, it happens from time to time, but you know, I think that happens in every league. It'll be Zampa and Fensler on the front row. Zampa is the leader. Should be on the outside, or he is on the outside, of course. You see him. But yeah, he's going to be the leader. First driver to pick the outside tonight on the front row. See if there's some sort of teammate agreement between he and Fensler on the inside, or if they're just going to try to race it out up there. So Scott Kerberg has dropped to 9 laps down. I'm not sure why. Derek Riley is now 1 lap down. Everybody from 11th on back came down pit road under that caution. So we will see kind of who's able to survive from here. Gonna have a lot of damaged cars throughout this race, and now we've got about 12 to 13 laps till the end of this stage. So intensity is going to ramp up. If you thought they were going crazy before, just wait for it now. Into the restart zone, and here we go. Zamp outside, Fensler inside. We'll see if Fensler lets down Dylan Zampa, and there he goes. So you see those front three all getting away on the inside. Will Tom Lanier take this run, or will he stay tucked up inside? Here goes Dylan Walterman. He wants to lead a line. He's going to go to the outside. And we saw him be aggressive earlier when it was just that 4-car breakaway with the 3 cars up front. He was aggressive. He knew they were teammates, but he was just trying to split them up, see if he could get by him any way possible, and he's going to try to do that now. Dylan now side by side with Tom Lanier. As this whole outside line gonna try their best to get back up front and challenge those leaders. Dylan now about to work beside David Coley. That is for third spot. A huge shove from Dennis Steele, but Walterman holds on to it. Here comes Jason Fensler to block. Will Zampa go with him? No, Walterman to the inside. Little crossover move. Now Fensler will lead the outside line. I don't think that's where he wants to be. Walterman is all over Dylan Zampa on the inside. Will Fensler drop back inside? He has the opportunity. There he goes. And everybody kind of driving through there a little bit crazy. But they stay off each other for the most part. Just always see that inside line shoot up, the outside line shoot down, and seen it probably 3 or 4 times already. There's been contact through there, so it'll be something to keep an eye on. Fensler to the outside again. Will not stick with it. Now Walterman to the outside of Zampa, almost contact. Coley's out of sorts on the inside. Now is the time to go. Jason Seams is trying to hold on to it. He does. Horner's in the grass. There's one other car spinning. Is that Justin Stenard in the 33? It is. So again, problems through the trioval as we got a wreck down the back. And it's just about everybody. So as we were watching everybody else try to recover from the almost wreck that happened, we had another wreck happen. So for some reason it's taken us all the way up to the blimp cam. I believe we need to find Dylan Zampa here. I don't know. Maybe Jason Fensler. Yeah, he is one of the drivers around. So let's go up top and find out what happened. Walterman middle, Fensler low. And it is a little bit of net code, but Walterman certainly came down and into Jason Fensler. And that thing is not moving. Fensler likely going to have to tow that race car. That's huge. Let's go take a look at it one more time. Let's go on board with Dylan Walterman. So he's running the outside here, all on his lonesome. And from that angle, it looks like Fensler almost comes up. We'll have to look at it one more time here. I think this camera angle was best last time. Just use that line kind of as reference, and I don't know, it's hard to tell. Tasman into the back there. Just a lot of carnage, a lot of wrecked race cars, and I think in stage 3 we're going to have a long green flag run because there's just not going to be enough guys to run in a big pack. But for Dylan Zampa, that went pretty swimmingly. He holds the lead still and gonna run out a few of these laps, and then we'll be heading into NCS Stage 3. But yeah, right there it was just... I mean, I should say first off that netcode did play a little bit of a factor there. Those cars did not touch through our viewing, but it is racing on the internet. It doesn't look like they touched, but according to iRacing, they did. And unfortunately, for just about the entire field, they did. And everybody else got big damage. But I think maybe for some of those guys who were involved in that little kerfuffle a little bit earlier in the lap, I might have saved them from some more damage that they would have incurred. So we are one lap to green on lap 57, so it'll be lap 58, 59, and 60. So a 3-lap shootout to decide the stage here. We are going to be ready to take the green flag here, and Jason Fensler still on pit road, so his night may be over. We'll see. And if it is over, that's a blow to the 20 and the 1, because those three were working together better than any other group of cars, so we'll see what changes up front without Fensler, without Walterman, two guys who have been up front all night. But it'll still be Dylan Zampa leading us to the green flag. Here we go. Zampa gets away clean. Lanier trying to fight. You heard some contact with the wall back there. Looks like everything's all right. It's Cody Dorsey there in the number 9. Gardner giving a huge push to Zampa on the inside. Lanier leading Marshall Wilson and Noah Tanzman on the outside. Wilson's going to dive down to the inside. Then you have teammates right behind, 3rd and 4th outside line. Noah Tanzman and Will Young. I don't know which is which. It's Tanzman then Young, it looks like. But 2 laps to go in stage 2. They're side by side for the lead. Can all these guys keep it together and not end up in the wall or on their roof? Stage 1 winner Justin Stenard is lurking. He wants to pick up some more stage points. Coming to white flag of Washam's on the fence. Stage 2. One final time around. Zampa and Gardner all over each other on the inside line. Tom Lanier trying to lead the outside line. They've got more drivers up there. Can they get more speed? Coming to the 3 and 4 for the last time in stage 2. The whole top line moving way up the track. It's going to leave Nick Gardner to win Washam's on the fence stage 2. And he had great help from Dylan Zampa. And those two were able to pick up 1st and 2nd in the stage. 3rd place will be Marshall Wilson, then Tom Lanier, Noah Tanzman. Round out your top 5. Then it's Coley, Young, Seams, and Stenard. That would be Ryan Seams, then Jason Seams, 8th and 9th. So again, we've had clean racing to the end of these stages, so hopefully we can get that till the end of the race as well. So everybody going to come down pit road here pretty much. I think a lot of these guys are going to take extended time on pit road because they've got some damage and they're just trying to get to the end of the race at this point. So since that caution came out so close to the end of the stage, we're going to see a lot of shakeup. Oh my! Tom Lanier just wreck under caution? What in the world just happened? I guess we'll rewind and see what it was. He was just catching up here, and he was not ready for the checkup. And that's a pretty hard hit for under caution. You might have to come down pit road and repair that. But it'll be Marshall Wilson, your new race leader, with Will Young in second place. So with all these different strategies, it'll be very interesting in this last stage here to see kind of what happens and what strategy a lot of these guys decide to play. It'll move Justin Stannard up into the top 5. Dylan Zampa will be the second car that pitted, so Stannard must have came down not taking tires, would be my guess. So we will go green this time by. We've got 18 cars now on the lead lap. Jason Fensler is out of the pits and only 1 lap down. So if you thought he was out like I did, I guess we were mistaken because it's only 1 lap down. All he needs is 1 caution. And he can get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. Marshall Wilson inside. Will Young outside. Here we go. Wilson gets a great jump on the inside there. Now he doesn't know which lane to go with. He's going to drop back down to the bottom with Seams and Zampa. Oh, it's Will Young and Justin Stannard on the outside. Will Young was your pole sitter, but we haven't really seen a lot of him tonight. Ever since those first few laps. I kind of tense up every time those guys go on to the front stretch there. I just feel like every lap something could happen because things have almost happened just about every lap. Seems with a huge push to Wilson. He almost loses it down on the inside. Seems tries to hold on to it, and he does. And Wilson slides up. And these guys just cannot control their cars right now. Now they're 3 wide for 5th. Zampa pulls ahead on the outside. Now he goes back to the inside. He has been aggressive all night, and it has worked out for him. Probably the only car who hasn't been involved in an incident tonight. But Wilson's car is a handful right now, it looks like. That outside line's been pretty consistent this whole run, but the inside has been in and out and sideways and too tight. Looks like about 10 cars have broken away here, maybe 11. And then you get to that second pack, led by Noah Tansman. or Nick Gardner, excuse me. Remember the Dash for Cash tonight. Little extra money for drivers, or for the 4 drivers involved. Whoever finishes the best out of Tansman, Stannard, Coley, and Horner will pick up a little extra money at the end of this thing. It's just a little something we do in URL to encourage participation. If you participate in a race, you get an entry thrown into a wheel, and then we spin the wheel. Whoever it lands on gets to compete at the pre-scheduled races that are labeled Dash for Cash. I believe this is the second one of the season so far. And then if you win your Dash for Cash, you go to the end of the year. The last race is also a Dash for Cash race, and all the winners go up against each other. Whoever finishes best out of those gets another chunk of cash. So it's one of the fun things that makes URL a little bit special. And then we also got a bracket challenge that will start for all the non-playoff drivers during the playoffs. So another way to keep those who miss the playoffs incentivized. But nothing really to report so far during the race here. 55 laps to go. Things are all clean for pretty much the first time all night. I think at this point a lot of these guys are kind of figuring out what their cars can and cannot do. See Jason Fensler back there. He is 1 lap down. I think he's just trying to stay close enough to the front pack to where if somebody else comes a lap down, he's going to be able to stay up there and pass them if need be, but also not be racing up in the chaos. But the field is pretty much split in half here between guys wanting to ride up front and guys wanting to ride in the back. So we'll see who ends up being right at the end of this thing. I want to give a shout out to these drivers up front, though. This is the cleanest and the best the front has looked all night. We've seen at times we've been able to have green flag runs as long as this, but not usually without incident. I think now would be as good of a time as ever to do a crank it up URL style. And the big one strikes. Well, maybe not the big one, but a larger than normal sized one, I guess. Marshall Wilson is around. Nick Gardner's around. You see Will Young and Justin Stannard, so I'm going to think this had to do with something up top. I want to pause it here for a second. Just try to find the best way to look at this. And I believe it's from Will Young, so let's see. So Young and Zampa side by side. Wilson moves up a little bit, and oh, I'd be furious if I'm Will Young. I don't think Will got touched at all, but as we've seen tonight, netcode plays a factor. It's just what we call lagging on other games, and Around he went, but let's go take a look at it one more time. Let's go on board with Marshall Wilson. He's just trying to hold on to it on the bottom. Looks like he gets a little loose, and then he got tight, tried to chase it up the racetrack, and then around he went. So we'll take a look at it one more time, just from the regular TV angle. And just watch, Will Young. You tell me if there's contact here. Oh, maybe. Maybe he got tagged a tiny bit. But, I mean, it looked like he was free and clear there, and ended up not being the case. We'll go to catch up live here, and it's like we've got a couple cars staying out. Zampa and Coley will be the drivers to stay out. Everybody else coming down pit road. And that will give the free pass to points leader Jason Fensler. So now, under this Mission 22 caution, let's hear from Wild Bill Soda.
You're looking mighty thirsty. Wild Bill's pure cane sugar, old-fashioned sodas.
And remember, this is the Tridents Up 188 presented by Wild Bill Soda. Sponsored by this guy right here, Jason Bottoms. So, looks like he's got a little right front damage there. But thank you to Jason for sponsoring this race tonight, and everybody who sponsored a race so far this season. Yeah, you can see his car right there. You got the Tridents Up right on the back for the Seattle Mariners. And he's looking to keep that car clean as we head towards the finish here. But it'll be Zampa and Coley front row. And then Jason Seams and Tom Lanier row 2. And again, we'll kind of monitor the intensity here. Whether these guys decide to amp it up or do the opposite and just kind of tone it down. I would expect that it's going to be amped up, just as it has been every single restart. But here we go. Zampa gets away decently. Probably the tightest restart we've seen all night. So Zampa leading a long brigade of Camaros on the inside. And then Coley and Derek Riley are pretty lonely up top, but there goes Jason Seams outside. He wants to lead. That'll put Tom Lanier inside row 2. This race is so interesting to me because the smallest of mistakes can end up just ruining your day. We've got now just 16 cars really with a shot to win this race. There's still a couple riding around. Stenard, Wilson 4 laps down, Kerberg 9 laps down, but everybody beyond that is out of the race. I guess Stenard and Wilson are not even riding around. They're just on pit road. We got 44 laps to go here. You also got to wonder about fuel. Do these guys have enough fuel to make it to the end? I think with that caution, fuel shouldn't be an issue, but maybe for Dylan Zampa, David Coley, they didn't come down. They may have something to think about here. So now the inside line kind of falling apart. We've got 3 guys down there. Everybody else up top. Dakota Bly into the top 10. Dylan Walterman as well. Jason Bottoms trying to hold on to the end of the draft here. Zampa trying to pull ahead. They're 3 wide for a second there. See if Lanier drops down to the inside. Oh, they're still 3 wide as we go to the corner here. You rarely see that on iRacing here. But they're able to hold on to it. Will Derek Riley help out Lanier in the middle? 3 wide, 2 rows deep. Coley into Dennis, stealing hard into the wall. Up into the air. And Stephen Horner just runs over Cody Dorsey. Will Young involved, as that is the huge one. Let's go take a look at what happened to Coley. So everything was all good through 1 and 2. But through 3 and 4 is where it happened. So he gets into the wall on entry, tries to hold on to it, gets into the wall again, and he's just trying to get that thing off the wall. That's why he goes so far down there, and then he's just along for the ride. Bottoms gets tagged there, and then, yeah, we'll have to rewind it here, see what happened from this point of view. So big wreck here, obviously. And Stephen Horner, oh no. Oh, you just can't do that. This has been a big, big point of emphasis in this league. We cannot have incidents like that. Fast forward a little bit here, but drivers need to get on the brakes when there's an accident, especially when you're this far back. And let's go on board with Steven. Maybe he just doesn't see something, but I mean, you see a wreck right there. Got to be hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes, and he's just not, and he runs up over Dorsey, and Will Young gets destroyed as well from it. So, yeah, we just can't have that. So we'll see if it lets me switch the camera here. I'm trying to go to just about anyone, but I don't know. Let's try it this way. Can we go to Dylan Zampa? No. Okay, here we go. So if I go to the end of the session, everything breaks. So we may just have to be a little bit behind here. I'm not sure what's going on. So yeah, once we get to a certain point, everything just kind of disappears. Okay, that's good. Try to go backwards in time, maybe. See if that helps. I mean, we are 1 lap to green, and this looks to be where we are, so I think we're all good. Got to figure it out here. So for some reason it changed us to Christopher Heights. There we go. Alright, back live. Should be. So it'll be Derek Riley outside, Dylan Zampa, your leader, inside, Walterman Scott up here. As what has happened? So iRacing's not cooperating. I don't know what's going on here. I think we had it for a second. Okay, we are going to try one thing here. Bear with me. Let's change it to this screen. Try to go out, go back in, because I want to be able to catch the end of this race. I don't know what's going on with iRacing. It's just not letting me just watch live. If I watch live for a little bit, it kind of just cuts out. So I'll try to get you back in there as quick as possible. Yeah, unfortunately, things just aren't going well right now. And I guess I can show you the screen here. Actually, I accidentally clicked something. Let's just hear from Wild Bill Soda as we try to get back into this thing.
You're looking mighty thirsty. Wild Bill's pure cane sugar, old-fashioned sodas.
Okay, we're just about loaded in. They are probably green right now, but hopefully they don't do anything too crazy till we get back in there. Again, sorry for this. I wish it were in my control. It's not, unfortunately, so just gotta kind of roll with it, I guess. And we are back. Here we go. Zampa in the lead on the inside line. So 34 laps to go. Jason Fensler back in the mix. Third car on the inside. One car we haven't talked a lot about, but has been right around the front all night. Ryan Seams. He's just been kind of riding around, but I think if we're not talking about you, that's usually a good thing at this kind of racetrack. Kirk Cairns as well is another guy that has just kind of been there. And if you got a clean car at this point of the race, I think you're doing well. Lanier tried to block. Everybody's going to wreck. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, and around they went. You could see it. We were watching Ryan there, and you just saw Tom Lanier creep down a little bit. Let's go see what happened. So Tom in the 22, he wants to go to the inside to block. He's just not clear. And then Jason Seams sees a car shoot up in front of him. And there's contact between the 22 and the 15. And everybody else scurries on through. Go back one more time to look at it just to confirm. But yeah, I mean, Tom sees the run from the inside. He wants to go, but he just can't. And then it's going to be kind of the first damage all night for Dylan Zampa. Dylan Waltering gave a pretty big lick there as well, but caution is out again. And yeah, Zampa will come down pit road here. Seams will stay out. But expect Jason Fensler to come down. It's going to move Jason Bottoms up a number of positions. So Jason and Ryan Seams will lock out the front row here. Look at the rear bumpers on both Derek Riley and Ryan Seams. They've been used up. So David Coley, one of the Dash for Cash guys, now 2 laps down. Justin Stannard is already out. Now Stephen Horner had a faster pair, so he's still in it. And the only other driver is Noah Tansman. Where's he at? He is 9th. So it's between Tansman and Horner for that last spot, unless Coley can get both of his laps back, which is possible. Certainly possible at this racetrack. So we'll go green this time. And it'll be 30 laps to go once we take the green. Driver 7th on back, all came down pit road that last time there. Everybody who didn't, that is Jason Bottoms, Dennis Steele, Kurt Cairns, Derek Riley Ryan, and Jason Seams. Excuse me. But Ryan and Jason, it's an all Seams front row. Let's see what they can do. We'll see if there's any kind of teammate restarts here. We saw it earlier with Zampa and Fensler. We'll see if it happens here. Or if Jason's going to make his son Ryan earn it. But Jason Seams leading us to the green. Ryan Seams trying to get on by him. Here we go. And they are all even, side by side here. Stephen Horner does not have a hood on that thing. He's going to drop like a rock. All Noah Tansman has to do for Dash for Cash is just do not wreck. And he'll have that thing pretty much secured. But Ryan Seams, he also dropped like a rock there on that restart. He and Kurt Cairns are very lonely up top. Derek Riley's going to make a peek to the outside. He was going to try to tuck back down, but that all closed quickly. Almost contact between Dennis Steele and Derek Riley there. Steele trying to hold on to that thing real loose on corner exit. Everything pretty orderly so far. I'd expect to be like this for a few laps, but all it takes is one little mistake from one driver, and we've got some problems. Almost happened right there with Zampa and Riley on the outside. Now, I don't know if that damage on the back of Derek Riley makes him harder to push. Obviously, it would in real life. I don't know if that is a thing on iRacing. I just, oh no, as they almost make contact there. Through the quad oval, we've seen it time and time again. But yeah, I just don't know if that is something that these drivers kind of have to worry about with the damage on the cars that they're pushing. It doesn't seem to be, because those two are flying on the outside all on their own. Dylan Zampa is showing himself to be an incredible pusher. Down to about 15 out of the 24 cars still running. See Justin Stannard exiting the pits there. He's going to try to gain a few positions here. Don't know if he'll be able to. And yeah, every time they go through there, it is worrisome for me. I can't imagine how it is for the drivers. And a steal again! Loose on corner exit. Looks like Derek Riley has the lead. He doesn't want to move down, though. It might be showing that this outside line is just better than the inside. And that is usually the case at Daytona and Talladega. But right here, it is 2 cars against 5. And the 2 are putting up a great fight. And maybe that's just Derek Riley and Dylan Zampa working together very, very well. And the 2 orange cars out front stay side by side. And certainly Zampa is being more aggressive than Steele and Ryan Seams on the inside. Just because the inside has more numbers, they don't need to be as aggressive. Zampa has to push pretty much as hard as he can on the outside. Kurt Cairns took a peek to the outside. He's going to go back inside, though. Looks like Zampa and Riley are falling just a little bit here. But nothing too crazy just yet. See a couple guys back there. Tansman, Bly, Walterman, Coley. They're all just kind of hanging out, waiting for the wreck to happen. Now Riley and Zampa becoming very apart. And Stephen Horner is just staying in the middle of the road. Everybody tries to avoid him and he... Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, that wasn't good. Let's go take a look at it. Let's just stay with Stephen Horner for... Let's go with this camera angle for him. So the entire field is coming up to him. He does not have a hood. He is obviously way slower just by default. But his car has a ton of damage, and he just kind of parks it in the middle of the racing line. None of these guys behind him can see. And then he moves up here. And, I mean, you can't blame Tom Lanier for getting into Fensler there. Fensler just spins around. I mean, you can't do that. You just can't. Let's go watch Ryan Seams' point of view here. So let's just keep watching. So the slow car's there, and then he disappears. And he disappears again. Like, these other guys just can't see him. And when you just park it in the middle of the road, there is so much room to the inside there, below that red line. You can use that as a lap car. You are very much encouraged to use that as a lap car. And he just doesn't, and causes a wreck there with 18 laps to go. I mean, Steven has been a great guy in this league, valued member for a long time, but it's just 2 incidents tonight that need to be avoided. But that will improve the positions for those guys riding around at the back. Tansman, Bly, and Walterman. They were right to just kind of sit back there. So it'll be Seams and Steele, your front row. Zampa will be third. And Derek Riley must have came down pit road right there. Yeah, he did. So yeah, like I said, it shakes up a lot of this front part of the field. Zampa's still here, Seams still here, and Dennis Steele, but everybody beyond that has gained positions here to get up here. Yeah, Jason's all good. Jason Bottoms. I know he was involved in a wreck. He must have used his faster pair and hasn't been involved in anything since. So, yeah, Bottoms, all good. Really no damage on that car. Maybe some on the right front, I think, when we showed him for the sponsor, but yeah. And I think just about every car here has at least a little bit of damage on some part of the car. I think you see a little bit on the right rear seams. A lot of guys' rear ends. Ryan Seams, Derek Riley, both a little beat up there. And with that, you gotta have some people with some bent noses. So, yeah. Could be going green right here, right now, with about 15 laps to go. And Seams will lead us. Here we go. And it's a great jump for Jason Seams. Dylan Zampa as well. We'll see where Dennis Steele decides to go. He'll just tuck in behind. You have Noah Tansman, Dakota Bly. Dakota looking to get a top 5 here tonight. Seams and Zampa all over each other on the inside. Bly looking to maybe get up there and fill that gap. Looks like he got a little tight there. Moved up the track. Is Dennis Steele going to fall back in line? Bly just going to hop out of it. He wants to get to the end of this thing. I think he felt his car in the pack there for a second and did not like it. So he drops to the back. I mean, that's understandable because he's kind of just going to ride around to the back all night. Once you get up in the big pack, your car is going to drive completely differently. And if it's not handling to your liking, just back out. They'll probably wreck again. Got a Steele going way up top. I don't know if that was to make a pass or what, but now he tucks in behind Jason Seams. And remember, Jason Seams is the winner was the winner of our opener at Talladega. So he has been able to put it together and be very, very competitive on these super speedways as he goes up there and lays a block to Dennis Steele. And it was a clean block as well. Now Zampa going to do the same. Uh-oh! Seams gets spit out. Derek Riley into Tom Lanier. And we've got another one. Let's see what happened. This is all going to be pretty much from Dylan Zampa getting a huge run here, then trying to go block the top line. So he shoots up, and I mean, I said that Seams was a good block. Zampa, that was right on the line, if not over it. Just because Steele, you see, I'll try to stop it there, but Yeah, Steele is all over Seams trying to push him because, from his point of view, he just sees Jason Seams all alone out front. He needs to push him. Zampa is going to come up here because he wants to control this line. He wants to lead it. And he's going to come up in front and block, and there's just no checking up that they can do behind to kind of stop that wreck from happening. But we'll go back a little bit deeper in the field. Let's watch from Dakota Bly and his onboard. Because he had backed out of this. We'll see if it was for good reason, if he made it through or not. See Derek Riley all over him, and Dakota checks up in time. And he gets going again, so. Another big wreck at the end of this thing, and I don't think they're going to stop with 10 laps to go. So when we go green, it'll be 8 laps to go. And, yeah, I mean, everybody's been aggressive so far, but if we make it 8 laps without a caution, I will be shocked and impressed. But everybody you see there got kind of some sort of damage. This is going to put David Coley back on the lead lap. He's kind of just been lurking at the back, waiting for these 2 cautions to happen. And now he's got them. He can come down pit road, put on some new tires, and go have a shot at this thing. Dylan Zampa to the rear of the field for causing that incident. So if somebody does cause a wreck, they do get pushed to the end. And that's what happened here. And I can't say I disagree. I understand why Dylan did it. He thought that he needed to lead the line. He wanted to keep control of the race, but it's just a little bit too late, and at a track like this, that's what's going to be the result. So I believe with that incident, oh no, David Coley is back on the lead lap. So I was going to say Tansman is locked up, dash for cash, but it is between him and David Coley, who's back on the lead lap now. Tom Lanier is taking a detour again under caution. I don't know what that was for, but he's back up on the track. But it's going to be Dennis Steele, Dylan Walterman, 2 Championship 4 drivers in the Truck Series last year. And right behind them, 2 new drivers this year, 2 rookies, Kirk Cairns and Ryan Seams in his second race. See what happens as we take the green flag with 8 laps to go. Good jump for Steele, maybe too good of a jump. They might have a run on him as we go down the back. Kirk Cairns up into second, and here's Jason Fensler. Jason with a bump to Cairns. He's going to move up, let him back in. I think that was just one push that went a little wrong there, but everybody stayed all right. With 7 laps to go. Fensler outside, Steele inside. Can Jason Fensler rebound from being a lap down? Now try to get back, and it's going to be Ryan Seams spinning around. And nobody else looks to be involved. Let's take a look at what happened. I'm going to guess he just got loose on corner exit, but we will see for sure. Now we got a little tap from Dylan Zampa. So Zampa, after not being involved in really anything at the start of this race, gets involved there with a little tap to Ryan Seams. We'll see if that puts Zampa to the end of the line again. I don't know on that one. I mean, there was definitely contact, but we'll see if they deem that Ryan moved up. But Jason Fensler from the bottom, pretty much, back to the top, your race leader. And he's in control of this thing, not what everybody else wanted to see behind. Because this was looking to be a disaster of a day for Fensler. He was leading most of stage 1, ended up just getting 2 stage points, missed out on all the stage points in stage 2, was 1 lap for sure. He might have been 2 laps down. And then now he's your race leader. So it'll be 3 laps to go when we go green. Not quite an overtime attempt yet, but we're getting there. But yeah, this has been a caution-filled race, but that's what's expected here at Atlanta. I mean, these guys are on edge about a foot from each other at most. Every corner, just trying to stay off each other. So it's just kind of the way that it is here at Atlanta, and yeah, that's what this racing tends to lead to. But this maybe will be the final restart. We'll see who's able to take advantage. So your top 5 are Jason Fensler, Dennis Steele, Dylan Walterman, Kurt Cairns, and Jason Bottoms. And you see Noah Tansman there. He's trying to win Dash for Cash. 2 spots behind him is David Coley, his adversary for that. For so many of these guys, this has been just a roller coaster of a race. Fensler was down laps at times. Walterman's been riding in the back at times. Same with Bottoms. Same with Cairns. Same with Tansman. Same with Bly. I mean, everybody has been in just about every position during this race. And you got points, or not points leader, pole sitter, Will Young, just trying to get back on the lead lap with a pretty destroyed race car. Or not back on the lead lap, catch up to the pack and see if he can keep pace. But it's going to be all Fensler and Steele on the front row. Jason Fensler inside in the red Chargers machine is the lead car, the control car. Let's see what happens. It'll be 3 laps to go once they get the green flag. Here we go. And it's a good launch from Jason Fensler. Everybody behind and not really able to keep up. Walterman took a peek to the inside, didn't want to go there. Now it's Fensler, Walterman, and Bottoms. The front 3 on the inside. Jason Bottoms and Dylan Walterman both looking for their first win of the season. Jason Fensler, he's won a couple already. Trying to extend his points lead, coming to 2 laps to go. Does anybody have anything for Jason Fensler? Jason Bottoms should have a huge run here. I mean, those front 2 are so far out in front. Will Walterman go anywhere? He doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's just got to keep pushing. Here comes that second group. They're there now. Bottoms looks to the outside. 1 lap to go. Bottoms made his move. He's to the outside. He's got help from Dennis Steele. Bottoms is real loose, trying to corral it. He gets the shove from the 28. And here he comes, trying to win in the race he sponsored. Side by side, they're banging each other. Here comes Walterman. It's going to be Jason Bottoms to win across the line. What a finish, and what a win for Jason Bottoms. He and Fensler were side by side, touching doors the entire last lap, it felt like. Let's go watch it again. That was awesome. We'll take it to the room cam for the replay on the last lap. So I saw right here, I thought it was over for Bottoms. He kind of got out of it, and it looked like he just didn't have enough, but Dennis Steele gave him a heck of a push down the back straightaway, stayed right with him, and these two just, they kept touching it. There's no other way to do it, and then Walterman tried to make a move to the inside, didn't have it, and by a very thin margin, Jason Bottoms is your race winner. What a finish. And like I said, it's the race that he sponsored. He was riding in the back most of this race, and he ends up picking up a win. That was a super speedway finish if I've ever seen one. But let's go catch up, watch his burnout. And watch this Seattle Mariners machine burn it down. In the Tridents Up 188 presented by Wild Bill Soda, your race winner, Jason Bottoms. Last year he became a first-time winner. This year, it is his first win. And he's done it at Atlanta. In the race he sponsored, let's go hear from him. Hey, Jason, you got me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy. What's up?
I mean, what a finish that was for you. In the race you sponsored, no less, in the Seattle Mariners car. How'd you do it, man?
Adversity. I overcame a lot of adversity. I had 5 minutes of damage at one point after I already used my fast repair. Just kept digging, put myself in the right spot, and then just tried to use the lap car that we had there at the end as a pick, and just barely got it. I don't know by how much that was because I was sideways. So,
yeah, I mean, you have a big run coming to those guys. You go to the outside, and then what is your game plan from there on those last 2 laps?
Stay as close to them on the inside and hope the guy behind me wants to help and not make the outcome a lot worse by taking us 3 wide, 4 wide there.
Yeah, and you talked about all the adversity that you and I think just about every other car had to go through. How do you get back and keep your head in it when you got 5 minutes of damage sitting on pit road?
Just know that the cautions are coming, so you have time to fix it. We got lucky there, got a lot of the damage fixed during the end of the stages, so the stage breaks helped out huge for that. But just hoping you got a shot, and just knowing there is that hope.
Yeah, and this is the first one of the season for you. Second in URL. I suppose you got a lot of guys to thank.
Yeah, man. Thanks to NOS Energy for being on board this season, and then of course Wild Bills for the league and our team, and Martin Sports for being on board every week as well, man.
Yeah, I mean, great race for you tonight, Jason. That was an insane finish. Congrats to you. And, yeah, we'll see if I'm talking to you again.
I won the Jason versus Jason battle, so that's pretty cool.
We just missed Jason Seams up there.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Good race. We'll see you.
Yep.
That was Jason Bottoms, your race winner. Let's go grab Jason Fensler, second place. Hey, Jason, you got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Just one spot short tonight. What more did you need?
I'm happy with it, to be honest with you. I don't have any luck at these speedway races, and after the night I had, coming back from 2 laps down, even be in contention, I consider that a win. So it's just survival, man. It's so tough with the runs that people get, and trying to decide whether you want to block it or not. You're just vulnerable when you're trying to block. So I was just happy to come home P2. Congratulations to Jason Bottoms. He had a good run on the top, and there wasn't much I could do.
Yeah, and you mentioned the other super speedways. What's the difference as a driver between a place like Atlanta tonight and then the Daytona and Talladega that we raced at earlier in the year?
Well, here it's just such a smaller racetrack. From 2.5 miles to 1.5 miles is a lot, and it's a narrow track, so there's not a lot of room for air. If you get up off the bottom a little bit, I was getting a little bit tight behind guys, so I really had to watch how much I came up because, of course, the outside line's right there. So there was a couple incidences. I think there was one off of 2 with Walterman that, the car he was on my outside, and it just kind of sucks you up the racetrack, and there's not much you can do or he can do, to be honest with you. So I think that's just a product of a 1.5 mile racetrack. Plate racing it's pretty intense.
Yeah, definitely. And it was looking, like you said, you were 2 laps down, like it was going to be kind of a lost race for you. How did you rebound?
Just stay in it. You don't give up. Had to use a fast repair, and then I just kind of had a nice little gap and just kind of rode around and let it happen because I needed to get some laps back anyway, so there was no reason to get up in the group. Some wrecks happened. We missed them. We missed a couple of them, and we were in a couple of them, but we ended up getting back on the lead lap. And then after that point, my plan was to just kind of ride around in the back, but as the holes opened, we just kind of took advantage of them and worked our way forward. And then unfortunately, there was a couple incidences late that, we ended up in the lead. And when you're in the lead, it's almost really tough to defend because there's so much going on around you. But we just did the best we could. Dylan did the best he could to help me, and Bottoms just got a good run on the top, and congratulations to him.
Yeah, overall a good race for you tonight. Extend your points lead, but yeah, always good talking to you, Jason. Good run tonight, and we'll see you next week, Ben.
I appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
That's Jason Fensler, your second place finisher. Let's go grab Dennis Steele, your third place. Hey, Dennis, you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, third place for you. I know you didn't win, but does it feel any better that the guy you were pushing ended up winning?
A little bit. I had to do something.
Yeah. So you're outside row 2. You're following Bottoms. Is there any thought to pull out a line to go try to win, or do you think there's just no hope there?
It got ugly right there at the end, so there was really nowhere to go.
And then, third place for you. Are these kind of a type of track that you like racing at? You think you've got kind of an advantage on anybody else, or would you rather just go back to the traditional style of racetracks?
I got the advantage if I can finish the race.
And you did it tonight, Dennis. Podium for you. Get some extra points for you. So
I was in almost every wreck tonight, so I know you saw that.
Yeah. I think everybody was in just about every wreck, but yeah, you made it to the end. You got a third place finish, so congrats to you, and we'll see you next week, Dennis.
Appreciate it, Chance. Thank you.
That was third place finisher Dennis Steele. Always a man of very few words when he comes up here, but always good talking to Dennis. And then the 2 Jasons. Obviously, a lot of chaos tonight, but that's what you get when you come to the new Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you guys for watching tonight, and we will see you next week. Nope, I will not see you next week. We've got Halloween next week, so we'll be off next week. 2 weeks we'll be back and bringing you more URL coverage. So thanks for watching tonight.